You're now listening to the Pitchside Peregrines Podcast, your home for all things Athletic Club Boise.
And we had a really awesome weekend this last weekend. It was supposed to be an away game against South Georgia Tormenta, but for those of you who don't know, South Georgia is kind of no longer in existence. But they're on a hiatus. So we turned what would have been an away game into the first Fan Fest, kind of a scrimmage that AC Boise put on this last weekend on Saturday, and they invited any season ticket holders. I believe the Riverguard Discord, they had noted it was 4,300 people attended, which Elias,
Wow.
it seemed more. It's
It
a really
seemed,
big site. It's a really big site. So
yeah,
it seemed, I don't know
there's a
if
lot of
43.
queuing. So I don't
True.
think at any point all 4,300 people were in their seats. So
No.
maybe photos from social media makes it look like, man, the stands were empty. And it's like, well,
And
yeah,
also,
but
I mean, the line, yeah, like you said, queuing, the line for swag and the line for the team store was insane.
yeah,
So
merch and autograph line
I
was
regret
massive.
I regret not getting there early enough to go and jump in that line because they did have a lot of really cool new stuff. Admittedly, I know, Elias, you want your corduroy hat.
Yeah, I
Um,
was a little let down by not. I saw it on the Instagram post of the new swag, and either it
mhm.
was just hiding from me or it wasn't out because I did not see
I
my beautiful. I mean, it's a pretty similar hat to what this is wearing, but I think it serves a different purpose. I will
Yeah,
say, Athletic Club Boise's hat design department, A plus. I, as a avid hat wearer, I can never get too many hats. I would love maybe some more casual t-shirts and less sweatshirts and crew necks as we're entering into the summer here in Idaho. But overall, all the merch that dropped was great, and um, should have taken our opportunity when we got early access to maybe be the first in line to start shopping.
that is true. That is true. I kind of regret not jumping in there too, but it's also I'm gonna avoid that like the plague for the first like month of the
Yeah,
season,
yeah.
because it's gonna be impossible to get in there in any like decent amount of time. It would be really cool if the club like does open it up on non-game days. Like, hey, we're gonna be open like pop-ups only. They're gonna have that, bricks and mortar permanent location. Like, we're gonna be
Hmm.
open for 3 hours on this random Saturday that we don't have a game or whatever day of the week, to give people an opportunity to get in the door without the crazy game day lines. But Elias did hint, we were lucky enough to be able to get into the stadium a little bit early and get a kind of a behind the scenes look at the stadium prior to the start of the event, which was amazing. And I guess just preface everything with the stadium is better than I thought. Like,
Hmm.
the stadium is way better than I thought it was going to be. There's still a little bit of work to do, but it's also not an insane amount of work to where like the stadium's going to be ready for game day. I know the big glaring one was the beer garden, but we'll
Yeah.
get into that. We'll get into that further. But Elias, I guess first thoughts. Again, we'll get into each like section details, but what was your impression? We talked about it a little bit, but it'd be nice to get like now that you've had time to digest what we saw.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a brand new building to what it was when we went for the brand reveal party. I'll throw up maybe some videos that we took of here of, I guess, just starting with the concourse kind of main food area. That was just super impressive to see as to how open they have made that space. To prior, it was a bunch of small vendor windows, and was really interested to see how they were going to operate with that space. With our media access, we were um, joined by Brad Stith, the CEO of the club, and did a full tour of the entire facility with us. So he did mention that there are a few things here and there that need to be finished over the next week plus of time before Saturday's kickoff. But I think overall, even given its 90% completion, um, there was a lot of things that I wasn't expecting that are there, and a lot of things that weren't even on my radar that were also there. So overall, I think it's a beautiful atmosphere. It's a beautiful stadium for both soccer and concerts down the road. And I'm
Yeah,
interested to
that's a
see.
good point. That's a good point about the concerts. There's going
Yeah,
to be some really prime seats
we
that
didn't get
for folks.
any info on when concerts are to be expected at the venue.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if some happen this summer, but I think the club right now is just focusing on first home game, and then hopefully we can get some people in place either this summer or potentially next summer for concerts. But yeah, overall, really impressed, really happy to see the growth and put actually feet to the turf and see everything
Literally.
around. Yeah, literally. Um, Overall, very impressed with what the club has done with this space and excited for it to be the home of the club for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an amazing home for, like you said, I think I listened to Brad in morning kick around episode where he said we have this initial 30-year lease and then it's like 5-year extensions that I think like he said it was just like in perpetuity. Like he essentially said if the club says yes, it just like the county can't really say no. They just say
Mm,
yes, we would like to continue this on in 5-year extensions until the end of time, if we so choose.
hmm.
Is how he made it sound. But no, we can kind of jump into where Elias and I apparently they start. They said hell yeah, let's get here at 2:45. So Elias and I walked through the door at 2:45. They'd already started the tour. So now we know if we ever get to be invited to anything like this again, that we
You're not
be there.
early or late. Yeah.
Yeah, be there 10 minutes early. But we started. They kind of just literally like started in one corner of the stadium and went around in a big circle.
Hmm.
So when we got there, they were talking about the family section. So the family
The
section is
Ford
eight.
family section.
Yes, the Ford family section. It is the kind of off-color green seats in the northeast corner of the stadium. There are 800 seats, and they are the seats that are $10 a game. So the 200 seats that are reserved on game day. So there's 200 physical tickets. So people, and those are for every single game. They're going to hold back 200 tickets. So you have to get to the stadium for this coming Saturday. You have to get there at 2. And that's when those physical tickets will go on sale. They'll be $10 and there's 200 of them available and they're going to hold those for every single game day. I don't know what time, but
Yeah.
again, just for this Saturday it's going to be 2. Um and apparently they bought these seats from F1. Apparently F1 was
Allegedly.
offloading allegedly.
Allegedly, in my
Um
opinion, I heard
yes.
that these came from which they do look like
A
F1 race
100%.
grandstands.
100%.
But they fit great. They fill up that
Yeah.
space. I didn't know looking at the seat map if like the family section was going to be like an open kind of run around with your kids section or if it was going to
Yeah.
be a grandstand.
I
So it
was
was,
I was expecting run like almost like a grassy hill, like kind
yeah.
of thing where like almost an extension of the park where they
Hmm.
just kind of have sod and kids can go crazy and play in the mud and kid parents are running around trying to keep their kids from running onto the pitch. But
Hmm.
apparently that's not the case. It's just the more attainable and more attainable seats when it comes to pricing. They're gonna be warm.
Yeah.
They're gonna be a little warm in the summer,
Yeah.
but that is the price they're not paying, I guess,
Yeah.
or the price they are paying because they're such reasonably priced seats, which is a cool. Props to the club for be committing to that
Yeah. I
price.
mean, a seat that has a button it is you're at least even if it's $10, you're at least making more money than if it was empty. So I think for the club to honor their word of this cheap seat for families um, and actually have backing of 200 seats for again 200 seats at least for Saturday's game. We can't guarantee that that's every game. I'm pretty sure Brad said that, but maybe it was just the time of day in which pickup starts will vary on match day to match
Mhm.
day. One thing I want to clear up is I don't think you have to be at the stadium from 2 to kickoff. Like you can go at
No,
2, pick up
just
your
go get your
tickets,
ticket. Yeah, get
come
your ticket.
home, and then go back to the game at
They're
7 or whatever the
they're not
kickoff
gonna
is.
they're not gonna lock you in.
The couple people I talked to just in life were like, I don't want to be there at 2 and then have to sit there for 5 hours before the game. Like, oh no, like you get your
They're
ticket,
not.
go home, enjoy
Yeah,
the next 5 hours of your life.
they're not locking you in. Don't worry.
Yeah. I will say with the family section, we do have a follower and the person who made all of our glorious backdrop um, did let us know that there was a seating issue. And it sounds like that also happened in the supporter section where people's tickets were numbered 1 to 57, but the seats were numbered 1 to 19.
Hmm. Yeah, I think he'd stated, yeah, there were seating issues. The numbers weren't jiving, and I think like you get it, like you want, like you have to understand that. I guess it's like, hey, this is the first, yeah, because it looks like they swapped his seat, and then in the supporter section, and yeah, the numbering was just a little goofy, so I think a lot of people were confused. So
Which
hopefully the club do an
cleans that
overlay.
up.
Take your seating map, overlay it with your current map,
Yeah.
and go change some of those seat numbers, because that would be frustrating, and that's something. I get it, you're new, but you are still a professional
Hmm.
organization. This it shouldn't be happening. And again, these things happen. It's brand new.
Hmm.
I think those are just installed. So I
Yeah.
bet they're like, hey, this is a fan fest. We're gonna take this week to fix it. Hopefully people don't notice type thing.
Hmm.
But it needs to get fixed all the same. People need to have the seats they paid for.
Yeah, I mean, it in my brain, at least for the family section, 19 times 3 is 57. So, um, it's just easy. Maybe it's either fix it on the season ticket side or the ticket holder side of make it 1A, 1B, 1C. I feel like would just be a nightmare versus just going 1 to 57 per row.
Mm-hmm.
As for what happened in the supporter section, where one of our followers is sitting on the other side of the stands from one side to the other, don't really know what happened there. Don't know how they can fix that or
He did. He
if
did confirm. He did confirm that he talked to the club, and they admitted that they mislabeled the
got it.
seats, and that they will be fixed. Um, and that does kind of go into the next section that we went to, or actually we did beer garden first, but we can talk about the supporter section just since we
Hmm.
kind of segue into that, anyways. But yeah, so Brad when Brad was talking about the supporter section, he did say pyro, which I'm not really sure he means actual flares, but maybe smoke bombs, like
Hmm.
at maximum smoke bombs, drums, which the supporter section, the River Guard, they did have two drums there. I thought we'd be able to hear it a little bit more from where we're sitting, but we're literally across the
Pretty much
field
on the
from them.
opposite end.
So understand, I think when there's more people in the supporter section and they really kind of maybe they weren't hitting the drums with as much vigor and
Hmm.
intensity that they usually would. We'll probably be able to hear them a lot better.
Yeah,
Um,
I know with our talks with Ryan, they were wanting to move the drums to be up on the stands versus right now they're kind of in that like ADA
in
section right now.
the area that they
Um,
legally can't block
yeah,
with a drum.
I mean it's a fan fest, so but I think getting those more vertical now, standing in the supporter section and getting video from the top of the supporter section, really gives you a feel of at the top of the supporter section, you're like halfway up, equal with the grandstands or near the top of the oh gosh, turf club.
Hmm.
So really puts into perspective. Yes, there's 500 people in here, but you are very vertically inclined, and it does kind of give that menacing um, tower behind the south end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. It is impressive. It is impressive, and I think again, the big thing about this stadium is that there's room to grow. Currently,
Hmm.
there is 500 seats. Um, he did say, and again, reading through the River Guard Discord, they are assigned seats. However, Brad made the point that it's like not necessarily enforced, but that's more up to the River Guard. And the River Guard in the Discord had said, hey, if someone wants their seat, perfect, that's fine. I think their preference would have been for it to be just open seating. Hey, you have a supporter section ticket, you
Hmm.
get first come, first serve. But it sounds like it's going to be enforced by the River Guard themselves, where it's going to be like, hey, if you want your seat, we're never going to like take that from you. But everyone else, if they're okay with just moving around, then they're going to be fine with it. So,
Yeah.
which is fair. A little bit of self-policing going on there, which
Yeah.
I mean, usually you can do that with more active fan groups, which we currently have.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I feel like the River Guard are growing at an exponential rate, and really excited to see what they have in store for us for Saturday's game. But similar to like a concert, like yes, you get there first and you kind of get your spot, but in a standing room only section, like there's going to be some bumping shoulders. There's going to be oh, I need to go to the bathroom. You're not going to be in your exact spot, but good to hear that at least everyone's on the same page, and potentially won't be a shock to people who didn't come to FanFest and are like, well, why is my seat right here not open? I sit one
There,
seat over, whatever it looks
I
like.
could see there being for the people who aren't River Guard members
Hmm.
showing up and being like, "Hey, man, I bought this seat." Like, like one of the people that we text
Yeah.
and converse with often, he bought his seat for a reason. Like he is front row because he wants to be front row. That's his seat,
Hmm.
and that is his right because he bought it before anyone else did. So again, I think that's going to be the River Guard leadership has already established that hey, if you're in someone else's seat and they want it and it's theirs, you have to give it to them.
Yeah,
So
they paid for that spot,
yes, and
whether they're in the River Guard or not. Like the supporter section is for all supporters, River Guard or not River Guard.
mhm,
Obviously, they have the biggest group by numbers, but that section is not the River Guard section. It is just the supporter
it,
section where
yes,
the
and
River Guard happen to be living.
that's a good distinction, and I think they understand that. I think they are more than reasonable when it comes to that sort of thing. I
Yeah.
think I again they all the River Guard guys are reasonable enough to be like, oh yeah, no, like we're never gonna push anyone out of the seat that
Hmm.
they purchased. And then the one section that we kind of skipped over, but we do want to mention is the beer garden. The beer garden is in the southeast section, so if you're standing in the supporter section, it's directly to your right. There's going to be space for 800 people, so 800 tickets in the beer garden. It is exclusive access to the three bars that will be located in the beer garden with there will be picnic tables, so no established like seating. It would be interesting to see if they have like kind of like lawn chairs almost like those like wood ones that are real low back
Oh, an
like
Adirondack
yeah
chair.
yeah an Adirondack chair. um and apparently Snake River Farms, shout out Snake River Farms. My sister used to work there for Agri Beef, but they're gonna have like their big barbecue setup in the beer garden section, which is really cool, and also just high quality, really good beef from
Yeah,
Snake River
we love
Farms.
beef.
So,
I
yeah,
think that
that'll
of
be
all the
cool.
sections was the one that wasn't complete at all. And Brad was like, "Yeah, let's just brush over the beer garden. It'll be ready
Yeah,
next week."
he
Um,
did joke about like people showing up with beer garden tickets, going like, what beer
what's going
garden?
on? So rest assured, those of you who listen and have beer garden tickets, you will have a place to stand or be on the game on Saturday. It was being done as we speak this week, right before the game. But there will be, yeah, I think cocktail tables, picnic tables, first come, first serve on those. And if not, you will be standing room only in that section. I think that section is sponsored by Hayden Beverage, which makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Do you want me to keep listening through? Do you want to jump in, Elias?
I mean, I think the Turf Club, I don't know of many Luxbox people who listen to us, but if
We
you
can,
are lucky enough to
yeah.
be there, the Turf Club looked great. I mean, it had great views, great sight lines of the field. That is also where the club shop is, which we've mentioned the long lines and how we may be avoiding that like the plague, as it is a beautiful shop, but very, if you have claustrophobia, you don't want to be in there. Very much tried to fit maybe 5 pounds of poop into a 1 pound bag of having like merch, the checkout lines intersecting with where your jerseys are on the rack versus where the hats are. It was just kind of like a game of centipede
So,
trying to find the
no,
end of the
no,
line.
no, no. Now you got me thinking of the movie Centipede. You already
Uh,
mentioned poop. Now you're mentioning Centipede.
we I did not say anything about that, Kyle. Your head's in the wrong place. But
You,
um,
this is your fault.
5 pounds of poop into a 1 pound bag. Never heard that saying before. Come on.
No.
It's my life 24/7. But it means I'm really busy and don't have enough time in the day to do everything.
Mm,
So,
mm,
but yeah, the club shop was great. I thought that they had a great offering. It was just pretty tight and would love it to be a little bit more spacious given the hype around how much merch there is and the hype around the team on how many people want to purchase. I don't know how they would make more space given where they're at right now. So
no, I
it's
think
just
they're
going to have
kind
to
of
be
stuck.
something you're going to deal with. I'd be interested to see once they have multiple jerseys if they're all just going to go in that kind of jersey corner or what's going on about that. We
It'd
did
be nice
ask.
if it would be nice if they had like kind of like at other stadiums they have like the really small like kiosks, almost like a merch
Yeah.
kiosk with like those major items. It would be nice if they had just a few of those little like pop-ups,
Yeah, at least in the
on the
mezzanine
north side.
area,
Yeah.
there was a lot of open space in the kind of grandstand corridor where maybe a merch pop-up shop could be there at all times just for like hats, stickers, small things. Obviously, again, it's our first home game, so there's a lot of growing pains and a lot of lessons that'll be learned through the season. But yeah, I thought the club shop was nice.
They the few points that I would did want to hit on would be they stated that keeping the old name was important, kind of the history of Bois Park. So the Turf Club is staying. I appreciate that. I'm like, it's a great name. Like it fits perfect. It's a turf pitch. It just kind of fits. So I'm glad they're keeping the name, and they do have the sliding windows, which is going to be really cool for it'll on the cooler days it'll help keep air flowing through there because I'm sure with there's 48 Lux boxes in there, and I think there's 8 people per box. So I'm like, that's a lot of people to pack in there. So, that'll be really nice just to keep it cool, keep the wind going, and also just hearing the crowd because they're right in between the main grandstand and the supporter section. So I think it could be a lot of like cool noise coming in there, and those people will be able to kind of feel the atmosphere of the game just as well as everyone else can. And the views are incredible. The views are really, really nice.
Yeah.
So admittedly, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great place to watch concerts as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Having kind of that middle corner of the stadium to where a stage could be in the center of the pitch. So, moving forward to kind of we maybe talked about at the beginning, but was maybe that the main food hall, whatever corridor area that's really opened up. There's food there. There was a bar there. Brad did
The
say
main
that
the
they
main like grandstand, the
yeah,
bottom
the
level.
underneath
Yeah.
grandstand. I don't know what you want to call that, mess hall. There is a major bar there that Brad said that they're going to have it open to the main entrance as well. So it'll be an
Hmm.
inside and outside bar
Yep.
with
So
a
yeah,
garage door.
yeah, like the right is like smack middle. They didn't have it open, but it looks like they just had to cut out like the door out of the essentially
Yep.
the siding of the grandstand, and it'll be two huge double garage doors that opens directly to a four-sided bar.
Yeah.
So lines on every side. So hopefully that can keep the queue for alcohol moving.
Yeah, keep the alcohol flowing. If you didn't look at the prices, they did seem a little high, but that's just the price you got to pay for pro sport
Yeah.
beverages. Thankfully, they are tall boys, so you're not getting completely gouged.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that
Exactly.
is the price you have to pay to drink at pro sports. Thankfully, a lot of their other foods and snack offerings seemed reasonable enough priced, like $3 for a bottle of water or $5 for a soda. It was nice to see that most, if not all, of their like actual food, besides maybe a snack, are coming from local food trucks and not in-house from a Aramark or other food distributor, but supporting your Knack Attacks or your Boise Fries, or I think they had a taco truck there as well that
Hmm.
looked delicious. So,
Yeah, all the food looked great, and we had multiple people tell us, like you had mentioned, that the food price is super reasonable. And
mhm.
yeah, the beer's tall boys, so the price is understandable. Especially, I think that kind of helps people from getting like too turnt
Yeah,
at the game. They're trying to, all of a sudden someone's dropping hundred and something dollars on beers. They're gonna feel the hurt a little bit,
yeah,
both in their head and in their wallet. So, um, yeah. So hopefully that keeps people a little bit, more tame
yeah.
at the
Or
game,
pumping more money into the club and
or that.
helping fund transfer next window. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But they
One,
did, yeah. Sorry, go for it.
oh, no worries. They did also mention that they weren't there today or at the Fan Fest, but there will be a lot of TVs. I think they said there was going to be like a 26-foot wide screen on one of the walls in there that was taped off, along with a bunch of other TVs of showing the game, along with Brad teased that that space would be used for World Cup watch parties this summer, which I
Hmm.
think would be great. Open air.
Yeah.
There's large fans. So it should be a cool
It
space to
it
watch
was it
games.
was because it got a little warm. At the end of the game, it was cooler. The wind kicked up, but when everything first opened up, it was one of the warmest days we've had in the year. It was significantly cooler down there, which will be really nice for the summers when when it is 98 degrees, 105
Hmm.
degrees or whatever. They have the big, like those big rotor fans that you see, they look like airplane propellers with how big they are. They have a few of those, so it could be a really nice setup to keep people cool, a good spot to escape the heat. And again, plenty of food options, plenty of bar options. It'll be a good spot. And I think the World Cup watch parties is a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
Um, and then moving upstairs is the mezzanine, really smaller when it comes to like the depth of how much room they'll be able to put as I guess as robust of infrastructure when it comes to um, your food and drink options. They just don't have the space to put as many I guess queue areas, line
Yeah,
areas.
but you can get a box of popcorn, you can get
Yeah.
sodas and water.
It was too empty. It was too empty
Yeah.
because as he talked, when Brad said it's like, oh yeah, we'll have a lot of options that appear to, and maybe it's just not set up yet. It looks like it wasn't done. It would be nice to see more because they literally only had like two snack stands at the very
Hmm.
far ends. So hopefully they fill in the middle. Maybe
Yeah, I think
put
having
one
one for each staircase would make sense.
with a
Selfishly,
bar
oh
option, not
yeah,
just
having
snacks. Yeah,
alcohol up there would be nice,
yeah.
as it is really close to our seats. Um, but yeah, I think they can fill that in with one or two more snack stands or maybe adult beverage station to allow easier access for people on the upper deck. But as for the grandstands, I mean, they were grandstands. I think the one shocking or nice touch that they were working on finishing was each seat. It is bleacher seats for the main grandstand, but each seat will have a cushion marked on its seat. So it won't just be a hard bleacher seat. You will have at least some cushion for it, which is a
They
nice
they
add
will
for,
be the best bleacher seats in the
yeah.
whole USL League One guarantee because you have a back, and now again only one row had the cushions, but he said it's for all season ticket holders
Yeah.
will get cushions. So I'm banking on it. I'm
Yeah.
banking on
So
that
if you're a
cushion,
season
which
ticket
is
holder in the
huge.
grandstand, um, you don't need to bring, don't quote us on it, but we don't think you need to bring a bleacher seat for the game on Saturday. You should have a nice cushion on your seat. And Brad also teased there's other season ticket holder things coming that he didn't want to spoil. So hopefully there's some cool things going on for Saturday's game there. Besides that, I think the Athletic Club across the back was a fun touch to personalize the grandstand and make it a fun thing. Besides that, I don't think there's much else to talk about for
No,
grandstand. A lot
they
of
have
butts and seats.
lots of
Um,
luxury boxes too, or loge boxes as
yeah,
Brad calls it,
with
which that confused me when I first heard it, and it's literally just I guess industry term for luxury box. They call it a
yeah,
loge box. So 48 of them with I think 8 people in each one. So that's a fair amount of higher end seating that they're offering outside of also the north, like the north
hmm,
side, where it's literally just shipping containers. Like it's,
yeah.
but they're like gutted out shipping containers, and they have like one side cut out, and it looks like they're gonna have like all the food and all the beverages that those people want will just have full access right
Yeah.
there. And
And those are pitch sides, so that's like
yeah, pitch side,
cooler.
24
Mhm.
seats per luxury box, and your seats. I really hope it will be interesting to see, and this is something you and I talked about, and some of the people we talked about. It's like, man, there's no like video board blocking those people. It's just literally 9 feet off of that out of touch line,
Mhm.
like, and then there's just people in chairs. They're gonna get smoked.
I think
So
Brad did mention that they're gonna complete
yeah,
the video
yeah,
board.
because
But it is, go
otherwise,
ahead.
kids, like if they
Yeah.
have a kid and they're just, oh, someone's not watching them for a second, freaking see ya,
Hmm.
kids on the pitch, which I
Yeah,
think
it
almost
was.
happened once
Yeah,
during the scrimmage.
kids will be kids. It was
Yeah.
cool to hear that I guess FIFA has you have to be a minimum of 9 feet from the out of
Hmm.
bounds line, and Brad and the team in their design made sure that they had seats 9 feet from the touch line all around. It felt like at least the northwest and south sides of the field, that were you are you can to almost touch a player who's doing a throw in. He did quote that they are the closest seats in the United States at a soccer field. I
They
don't know
are.
if the key word there is soccer field or if that's just any stadium in the United States. No matter if you have those seats, you will be very much in the action and will need to be focusing because you could potentially be taking any clearances off the edge of the field directly to the face. So cool touch, fun tickets. I think a couple of them are for sale and they're like $100, which for that once in a lifetime view of a soccer game would be pretty cool to try once or twice. Um, but I think besides that, they touched on the purple chair on the I guess seated section, and that's going to be the community outreach seat or community player of the game or person of the game.
I'd put community impact
Community
seat.
impact seat. So someone
Yeah.
from the community, each game will get the purple seat in the lower club level seats, and they'll have like a little moment during the game or during halftime or something where they tell their story and what they do
Yeah.
around
I,
the greater Boise area.
I
And
I could see it being like you nominate them,
yeah,
like a lot of teams have. It's like, you
like
get
a teacher
nominated,
or
a
whatever.
teacher, first responder, yeah, just nonprofit stuff like that, which is really cool. And it's a awesome seat. Like
Yeah,
you're like 5 rows or it's really close. It's not too far from the action. So yeah, you're in the seat and it's a great view and
yeah.
it's a cool community give back.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Peyton, the winner of our giveaway. Seeing those seats makes me jealous of the seats that were given to you in the club level. You're definitely again in a very comfortable chair and a very great place to view a game. So hopefully you look forward to that game in June. But I think besides that, that kind of wraps up at least the pre, I guess, description of the stadium for those season ticket holders maybe weren't able to make it or those who weren't season ticket holders at all to kind of get a better picture of what the stadium looks like and our thoughts. That's all for today's episode. If you enjoy the show, make sure to like, comment, share with a friend, and make sure you're following the show wherever you listen. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for all updates and future content to come. If you want to help support the pod and get access to exclusive content, early episodes, and bonus perks, head over and check out our Patreon. It truly helps us keep this thing growing. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for being part of the community, and we'll catch you in the next one.